The PL Show is brought to you by Kel Charcoal, Kel 360, and Kel Kids Toothpaste. You may never know how strong a woman is until she's faced with diverse situations. Strength, confidence, resilience, those are the exact traits of a phenomenal lady. My guest today embodies all of these things and many more. My name is Keminni Amanor, and you're welcome to the Kel Toothpaste PL Show. I'll tell you more about my guest, who is the first in many things, and you know why in a bit. The Kel Toothpaste PL Show is brought to you by the Kel Toothpaste brands Kel 360, Kel Charcoal, and Kel Kids. We'll be right back with the most amazing conversation we have ever brought you here. Don't go away.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm on fat missy way.
Repacho Bantama.
Matias.
It's her smile.
The fresh breath.
Me, Gidi said we use Kel 360 toothpaste. Same kind.
Kel 360 toothpaste.
Gaskia. Kel 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector. Onim jom kasan. Kel 360 did the way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
Hey, you will see so feeling when you know Kel 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Kel 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back to the PL Show. Our program is brought to you kind courtesy the Kel Toothpaste brands, Kel 360, Kel Charcoal, and Kel Kids. And listen, I'll tell you more about those in a bit. But let's talk about the phenomenal lady who is gracing our set and our program today. She's a first in many things. She was the first female MCE in her community. She's also the first female member of parliament for her community, La-Dadekotopon Constituency. Please put your hands together as we're joined by Honorable Rita Naa Odoley Sowah. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
How are you?
I'm good, my grace.
It's good to see you. Anyway, take a seat, please.
Thank you.
You have a lot of firsts in
Yeah.
your life. I wonder why. We'll hear that story soon. If you're just joining us, then you are in time for that inspiring conversation we're about to have with Honorable Member of Parliament for La-Dadekotopon Constituency, Honorable Rita Naa Odoley Sowah. Listen, she has a great story to share with us, and I hope that you don't miss any part of it. So where does, Rita's story begin?
Thank you very much. And I'm excited to be on your show. And I want to say a big thank you to God Almighty, who has led me this far. Rita was born in La-Dadekotopon to Mr. and Mrs. Rita Sowah, both of blessed memory. My mother was called Gladys. And I was born in the year 1968. And I grew up in the community.
Right.
We lived there all our lives. And I attended the Pennywise Nursery School in the community in the South La Estate. The school still exists. My father was a driver. My mother was a receptionist at a point because she was giving birth. She had to come home to raise her children. She worked with the Egyptian embassy at the time. When I was 5 years old, going to 6, our father took us to Achimota Primary School.
Okay.
And somebody would say, how did the driver's child
Get
to
there?
Achimota Primary School? Apparently, he told me he picked one of the teachers, and then the teacher, when he dropped him off at the school, Mr. Nim of blessed memory, and then he encouraged him to bring his children to the school.
Wow.
So that's how come I went to Achimota Primary School. And at 6 years, my father took me to the boarding house.
Wow.
Yes.
Did that impact your relationship with your parents? Because at 6, you were still in your very formative years.
Yeah.
Did it change something?
Oh, it didn't change much because they visited me every Sunday. And along the line, when I was in class 4, my brother after me, Richard, also they brought him to class 1.
Right.
And so then I had some company. And it wasn't easy though, but I think from class 4 upwards, I felt comfortable
Right.
being there. And you know, the driver's daughter. And with Achimota, you have the big people there. When we're on vacation, people will go abroad and all that. But myself and my brother, when we were on vacation, we used to go and sell.
Wow.
Yeah. So then I started selling from class 4.
What were you selling?
I used to sell sugarcane and bread. So the bread, I sell the bread in the morning and I pick it up from La and then go through the veterinary area, Laboni, and then come to the Regal Cinema. Apparently my mother had her kiosk there and there was a cocoa seller there. So then I'll go to the cocoa seller and then finish selling my bread. And amazingly, whatever I take, I sell all. And then in the afternoon, I'll go to the La market. My mother's cousins were there. Then I get some sugar cane. I had this white basin.
Right.
And then, the sugar cane, the guys, we call it K. That is one big bunch. Then they'll cut it for me. And I'll go around La to sell the sugar cane. And so that's how come I got to know La very well. I remember one time when we were on vacation, at that time my mother got some shea butter from the north. Somebody brought it to her. And so we had to go and sell the shea butter. And so for that one, we had to go to Mokola where the fishmongers come. And I saw one of my classmates. I don't know where she is now. Abna Mpuma. Yeah, her father was a pilot.
Oh.
And when I saw her, I had to dodge.
Oh my goodness.
And sometimes my brother and my other brother, Raymond, they were selling their rubber bags. And so when they see some of the people, some of our schoolmates, they dodge. And so when we close, then they'll say, hey, today I saw this person, but I didn't let them see me. And so it was like that, you know. Because when we go back to school and they find out this is what we are doing, you know, they make fun of people and all that.
Yeah.
But that made us different from them.
Yeah.
We knew that our parents were not up there, but we needed to support and do something for ourselves.
But that also says a lot about the kind of home you come in.
Yeah.
Because it didn't make you children rebellious.
No.
Rather, you know, you understood from the get-go that this is where you're from and this is what you must do. But, you know, what I want to understand is how did that upbringing, where you knew how to make money from an early age, how did it impact your growing up?
One thing our parents also taught us, the fear of God. And so I realized that I needed to do something for myself.
Right.
So it wasn't like our parents forced us to do it.
Indeed.
Yeah, we did it joyfully. And so I always grew up knowing that I have to do something for myself. I had to
It taught you some independence.
It taught me independence. Achimota School at age 6 taught me great independence. And initially, I was like the one who would keep to herself, but would go out there to do something for herself, something to help somebody. Because my mother was always out there helping people. So I grew up in that spirit. And so, like you said, it made me very independent. It made me know that the world is not just a bed of roses, but you needed to really do something for yourself, not depending so much on people.
Did some of the money go into paying your fees or getting you supplies for school?
Oh, definitely. Because after selling, we give the money to our
the
parents.
parents.
Yes, we didn't keep the money.
Interesting. How long did that go on, you know?
I'll say up to class 6.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so from class 6, I went to Nungwa Secondary School. I'd wanted to go to Ibri Girls.
Oh, the switch from Achimota to
telling
Nungwa.
you. I really wanted to go to Ibri Girls Secondary School at the time, but I didn't get the opportunity. So when I had entered Nungwa Secondary School, then Form 2, the opportunity came to go back to Ibri Girls, but I felt, let me just be with Nunsek.
Where you are.
Maybe God had something there for me.
Yeah.
But the switch didn't affect me much. That was where I found myself. And so I needed to make use of my time there. Yes.
What was life at Nusek like?
Life at Nusek was interesting. I'm the shy type, but in school, I wasn't the quiet type. Shy but not quiet.
So what were some of the things that you were doing? Entertainment?
At the time, I wasn't too much of an entertainment person, but I was outgoing with my classmates. And one thing I learned was to be fearless.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, Nungwa Secondary School, I went to Form 1 as a day student and then went to form to the boarding house. And, you know, most of the seniors, they used to send us the day students. And I realized it was affecting me. So I took a decision. I said, today if I go to school and they send me to cross the road to buy them the kinky and fish, I will not go. Lie. So immediately I got to the gate. Then one senior called me to go and buy her food across the road. And I said, my mother said when I come to school, I shouldn't cross the road. And that was the end of it.
She didn't do anything?
No. My mother said. And if I have said that and I cross the road and something happens, you'll be in trouble. So since then, no senior sent me to cross the road because that's what I'll tell you.
Right.
And some, you know, with peer pressure, a little of naughtiness here and there, we ran out of school.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to ask you whether you broke bounds a few times.
Oh, yeah, I did.
So you got into trouble for that?
I got into trouble.
What happened?
You know, there was this disco, stereo sports. And then friends used to go. So one day I decided to go with them. And we went, and unfortunately, we were caught. The history mistress at the time. And then she said, they went to serious sports. And, you know, we were on midterms and they didn't allow us, the boarders, to go home. So then my mother came visiting. And then we had the housemaster at the time, Mr. Chawi, may his soul rest in peace, Agbozo Chawi. He was a bit of a kokonsa man. And he told my mother everything that had happened, the reason why I wasn't at home for meetings and all that. But since then, I didn't do it again.
Did your mother get, you know, angry with you?
Yeah, she wasn't happy because that's not the way she had brought me up, and following friends here and there, she wasn't at the least happy at all. But I turned on a new leaf, and then we...
When did the new leaf set in?
Oh, I think immediately after this.
After that incident. I see. Yeah. What did you want to be when you were a child?
Growing up, I really wanted to be a lawyer.
I see. I see. Why?
I love helping people, and I felt that some people's cases were not well
adjudicated.
That's the word. And I said, how can I help some of these people? I want to go into this profession to see if I can help the underprivileged, those who do not have. There are people whose cases they are not guilty, but they don't have people to speak for them.
Right.
And so that's what I really, really wanted to do.
Yeah. But then politics found you.
Politics found me.
And we'll talk about the journey to politics.
That's important.
You're watching the Kel Toothpaste PL show. Let's take a look at the Seed to Oak segment. Look at the picture with you and your friends from Nusek. I mean, what's the story there?
We had some sports and activities. And so after the sports, we decided to take some pictures.
I see.
You know, at Nusek, I was a long distance runner.
I see.
Oh yeah, I love sports. Yeah, so we used to do I used to do long jump, high jump, 1,500 meters, 3,500 meters, cross country.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was after one of the sporting events that we took this picture.
Your childhood is very interesting.
I'm telling you.
I don't remember ever doing sports, but you have such a you know an interesting childhood. So from Nusek, what happened to you then? Yeah,
so from Nusek, I came to work a bit. I worked with one supermarket, Delcy Supermarket. I did some secretarial course, and then I worked a bit before going to the University of Ghana to do social work.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had a dream for the social work. Wanting to help people, I needed that background to be able to know the exact things to do. And so that has shaped me to where I am today.
I see. What would you say is the fondest memory you have about growing up?
You know what? I'll talk about my brother Richard.
Right.
So when we're growing up, I'm senior to him. But you know, when the guys start growing, they think they are older than us. And so sometimes I used to beat him. And one day, I put him in the room and I beat him.
Aish.
But that day, I realized Richard had grown. And if I don't take care, he will hit me back. And so I quickly left the room, locked him in the room for him to finish crying and calm down.
The executioner was afraid.
I'm telling you. And you know, after that day, I never touched him again.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Where's Richard now? Does he remember?
I hope he remembers. Richard is out there working.
I see. That's really funny.
Yeah, because I didn't like the fact that, I mean, he thought that he was going to be senior to me. I'm the senior, so you need to respect the senior.
I mean, does he know now that on that day you were afraid?
He doesn't know.
Well, now he does. We told him.
Yeah.
But that's a really interesting story. And thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Our C2O segment is brought to you by the Case toothpaste brand. If you're looking for something that is not harsh on your children's tongue or in their mouths, I recommend Case toothpaste. It's suitable for children between the ages of 2 and 6 years old. It's strawberry flavored, but more importantly, it contains all the ingredients you need for them to have a clean teeth, fresh breath throughout the day and throughout the night. Case toothpaste is approved by the Food and Drugs Authority, so you can rely on its quality. Let's get back to our conversation with Member of Parliament for La-Dadekotopon, Honorable Rita Naa Odoley Sowah. All through this, you were going to school, you were doing other things. When did politics set in?
Okay, before I go to that, I want to say Richard is a brother and a friend. Yeah, out of the lot, he's my friend.
Oh, amazing, amazing.
So Richard, if you are watching, I got your back covered. So
all the time, and she was also afraid of you. that last beating she gave you.
Yeah, going into politics. Growing up, I loved helping people. I didn't want to see people in trouble. I wanted people to feel comfortable around me. And so one of the days, the assembly elections was going to come up in Dadekotopon. And then my in-law, my ex-husband's cousin, Mary Mensah of Daily Graphic. And then she said, the things you do, it's politics. Because when it's time for elections, I go around people's homes to create the awareness that they needed to vote. Wow. Because sometimes people will be sitting on the fence. I said, if you don't vote, you get people who you do not want to come and rule.
I see. And nobody had asked you to. You were just doing it.
No, I was just doing it.
Wow.
Yeah. Then she said, the things you are doing is politics. So it's better you start it. And so then, okay, we agreed then that I'll go for the assembly elections. So Mary Mensah went ahead to print my posters. And then I informed my ex-husband that that's what I want to do. Then he said, so far as he's not in the country, I cannot go ahead. So I told Mary, and I said, then we need to abandon this project. And so we abandoned the project. But along the line, I was with the National Democratic Congress. So my chairman at the time, Magnus Anyite, we were under AMA, Accra Metropolitan Assembly. So we had a sub-metro in La. And he nominated me as one of the members of the sub-metro.
Right.
So I was a councillor at the sub-metro. And precisely I was the finance and administration chairperson. And so that's how we went along with it. At the time I was also working with Honorable Nyamasana Mwali as his administrative officer. It was not easy. He taught me a lot. He corrected me. He made me aware when I was going wrong, what we had to do and all that. And sometimes there was no money, but I still kept on because I had grown to believe and hearing the voice of God that he was taking me somewhere.
Right.
So whatever the storm was, I had to weather it. And then we got to a point, Honorable Nomali was Member of Parliament for 3 terms. He was going for his 4th term, and people were like, okay, at that point, I had now become the Municipal Chief Executive, the MCE.
Yeah, and you were the first one.
I was the first one, but I didn't just go on, it wasn't on a silver platter. I contested with 3 men, and by the grace of God, I was tops on the list. But the men will not let me rest.
They won't let you
It
rest.
took a year for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to nominate me as the municipal chief executive.
Wow.
The men fought.
Wow.
I'm saying this so that anybody coming up, it's not on a silver platter, but you need to be resilient, you need to be focused, and you need to be courageous.
How did you keep your head up? Because the men were fighting you.
It wasn't easy, like I said. For that year, whole year, at a point, my mother was like, Imbi, politics, no fear, sanopa. Those were her words. And then I said, Mom, I think God has sent me somewhere. I'm on an assignment for God. And so I cannot stop this thing. And she said, really? Because sometimes I had to go into hiding. My dear, it was tough.
I see. Why did you have to go into hiding?
You realize people were pursuing you. And it wasn't easy. Physically, spiritually, it wasn't.
You fought a battle.
I fought a battle. I'm sharing this story today. I've never shared it. So then when she said that, then I told my mother, I need God to send 12 prophets to tell me to rescind my decision. If that happens, then God has not sent me. Then she was like, wow. Then I said, Mom, ole no minta no fe, minta no solo hami, because nliake nyumwe chumi. Then she said, okay. So then along the line, that was in 2013, in June, I attended the Royal House Chapel. Apostle General Samkranchi and Mama Rita are my spiritual parents. And I didn't joke with my church activities. I'm a senior lady deacon over there as we speak here. And my daughter had come. I have one daughter. Yeah, she was in the US with her father. She had come home and we just kept believing God. So one of the days we were supposed to go to church to pray. And I said I didn't feel too comfortable, so we should go home. So when we got to the gate of the district assembly or the municipal assembly, then I told my daughter, that's my new office.
Amazing.
Amazing. And we got home. When we got home, I said, I want to listen to the news in the car. So we sat in the car and I got a call from the director then. And then he goes like, the nomination has been made. I said, wow. I was very quiet. I said, wow. So whose name did they mention? He said, why are you asking that?
Don't you know?
No, I didn't know. And my daughter and I, we just embraced each other.
Oh my goodness.
We didn't eat that night. We were going to prepare food, but we couldn't prepare the food. And that's how far God brought us. He just answered the word I spoke. And that's how we went on. And so I salute His Excellency John Dramani Mahama because the people fighting, one of them later told me, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama said, that assembly, he's putting it in the hands of a woman. So if they don't want me, they should look for another woman. And they never got.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. It was made for you. To think that it was carved out of, you know, just in time when you were ready for it.
Yeah.
Amazing. But then you moved from being MCE to, you know, the MPship.
Okay.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so from the MCE, NDC lost elections in 2016. So I was home for that period between 2016 to 2020. But I never stopped being with the people. It was difficult, but I was at the funerals, I was at the occasions, the homo war, the celebrations, what have you. I was involved in party activities. And so we kept moving, and the opportunity came for us to go for the parliamentary primaries, and I showed my head. And so I went for the primaries in 2019, and by the grace of God, the people gave me the nod, the members of the National Democratic Congress. I salute you for helping me to be where I am. And we went for 2020 elections. As God will have it, He gave me the nod again to serve the good people of La-Dadekotopon.
The people already know you.
The people already know me. Yes. And so I've been in Parliament, getting to 4 years, December 7th. And it has not been an easy road.
I told you that the story we are hearing today is awe-inspiring. My guest on the Celtic Pace PL show is the Honourable Member of Parliament for La-Dadekotopon, Honourable Rita Naa Odoley Sowah. But the Kel Toothpaste PL show is brought to you by the Kel Toothpaste brands, Kel 360, Kel Kids, and Kel Charcoal.
Mommy.
Michelle say, fe. Yum.
Different era, better result. Time has changed and time has brought Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Healthy gums, anti-cavity, fresher breath, and it whitens teeth. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Sankofa.
Yenchi, Kel Charcoal Toothpaste.
Happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back to the PL show. So, why did you choose the NDC in the initial stages of your political life or career?
Yeah.
Why the NDC?
I loved Jerry John Rawlings. For one thing, he was very down to earth. He was there for the people. He was a grassroots man. And when I see him on the farms, I see him, he comes to he goes to help the people in the, the toilets that we used to have, where they have to dig in and all that. And I sat back and I realized that this is a man, if I admire him, why don't I follow him where he comes from? It was not an easy decision, though, to go into the political arena and to identify where you really want to go. And his Honorable Nyama Sanomali also helped me so much. So I knew him, we lived in the same area, and so I knew him earlier. And the way he also did his politics, I admired that. And I decided, why not? The
NDC
National
was the way.
Democratic Congress was
And you
the
haven't
way.
had any regrets?
Not at all. Not at all. I believe God placed me there for a purpose.
For a purpose.
Yeah.
And you're still on your way to achieving that
That's
purpose.
true.
So 4 years or almost 4 years of being MP for La-Dadekotopon. What has that journey been like?
The journey has been good, terrible, horrifying, to say the least. Because La-Dadekotopon is a very big constituency. As MCE, I had the resources at my disposal.
Yes.
Do this, do that. But as Member of Parliament, you are
don't have.
limited. And with my area, it's predominantly NDC. And so most of the time, my people do not go to the municipal assembly or to the municipal chief executive when they want something. Most people will come to the MP and they think the MP has to definitely provide. And sometimes the resources are not there. And going out, sometimes you have to go and beg to get resources to come and support your people. And I mean, it's not easy that way. And like you know, most women in politics, we are branded as prostitutes and all that. I've had my fair take on that.
But this challenge with women and the name calling of women, it mostly happens to us. Why do you think that is the case?
For me, one thing I always say is, I call on the men to support us. And I tell my fellow female politicians, we don't have to look down upon the men. So for me, I don't do that. But some of the men also do not understand the reason why you have to be there. When you come to parliament, we have 40 women as we speak in this 8th parliament. When we went for our primaries, NDC lost some women to men. NPP also lost some women to men. And so we lost about 11 women who are not coming back. And all these seats were contested by men. We are not saying the men shouldn't contest us, but sometimes they need to support us in a way. And I don't understand why they think we shouldn't be there. But we need to blend the male and the female to make sure that governance goes on well. And most of the women, I would say almost all the women in parliament are doing so well. And you know one thing, one interesting thing, when the men are underperforming, nobody says anything. When a woman is underperforming, all hell breaks loose. And we said it, the women cannot do it. Meanwhile, when you go through the records, there are some men who are underperforming. Why don't we talk about them?
Right.
And we just leave everything to the women. So we, the women, we need to work extra hard.
And even still, people will talk about, talk down at what you do.
So that's
Really
one
tough.
thing we need to look at, and we need to have a serious conversation on.
How do you say that you get yourself going despite these very emotionally draining challenges?
My trust in God, my faith in Him, that's what really keeps me going. Because then He reminds me that He has called me for a purpose. And, let me come back to this. There was one time before I became MC, when I was going through that year of struggle, and I didn't have money on me. I visited somebody's office, I wouldn't mention the person's name, and his officers were going home. I thought they were going to La. So I said, let me join them, because the money I had wasn't enough. Can you imagine? When we drove from the ministries, they headed towards Circle. I was like, I'm going to La. They said they have to drop somebody at Circle before we go to La. I was like, wow. I was sad in my spirit.
For ministries, they prefer to go to Circle.
They said they had to drop somebody, but they didn't tell me, but I had already gotten myself in the car. But one interesting thing, and I would never forget, when we got to the Accra Polytechnic, the traffic light, to turn towards to the Graphic Road area, then somebody was selling a book, and the book was by Joyce Myers, Never Give Up. So the little money I had, then I heard in my spirit I should buy the book. And that was what changed my story. So I said, oh, so that's the reason why I sat in this car.
And it brought you towards Circle. There was a reason for that.
There was a reason.
A divine reason.
A divine reason.
So you used your last money to buy the book?
Oh, yes. I bought it. Because I felt in my spirit I needed to get that book.
And so how did you get to La? You stayed with them?
I stayed with them.
Because you shiketa. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I sat quietly and just, so this is the reason why you brought me into this car.
Yeah.
That's what I told myself. I was talking to God, God, you can make Him your friend. And when you speak, He hears and He answers. And I promised Him one thing, that on this journey, wherever I go, I'll let people know about Him.
How important
I'll
he
let
was.
people know about His faithfulness if you will rely on Him. And so I got the book and I started reading the book, and I said, I'll never give up.
Never give
no
up.
matter the storms, I'll never give up, because I know God is with me.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So where is that book now?
It's there.
Really?
Yeah, I
You
have
kept
it.
it on your shelf?
I still have
There's
it.
no way you can throw that
No,
away.
no.
Your last money.
Yeah.
But when you look back, you've had a really complex journey.
Yeah.
You've had some good times, but you've also had very trying
Yeah.
times. But you were the first MC for your community.
Yeah.
The first female at that.
First female.
And then the very first female MP
That's
for
right.
that area.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
I feel very humbled that among the lots God chose me. I never want to raise my shoulders on that. It was the doing of the Lord, not my own might. He brought people to support me. He gave me people on the journey to help me, hold my hand. And I would not take that for granted. And people meet me sometimes, and when I'm introduced as a member of parliament, they're like, oh, are you sure? Unless maybe the person has seen my photos around. But it makes me so humble that this God is wonderful, because He's the one who touches the hearts of the people. When I was going for the elections in 2020, I didn't have money. And I was just in my room and I said, God, if you have sent me on this journey, you need to let somebody call me. Because it was this COVID time and I needed the money.
Yeah.
And you know who called me? Apostle General Sam Kranchiankra.
Wow.
Then he said, Odoley Ngboyo. I was weeping then. And he said, send somebody or and I went there. He gave me a check. The money I really needed. And I told him, you are my prayer answered.
How did he know?
So other people helped.
Yeah.
I'll be there. Then somebody would bring T-shirts. The first T-shirts I printed. Glory! I wish I could show that T-shirt, my dear. My people were calling for T-shirts. I didn't have the T-shirts. I didn't know what to do. Then somebody gave me some Rockport T-shirts, and a classmate from Nunsek said he would print it for me. When you see the printing, I said, Gloria, how are we going to give these t-shirts out?
Yeah.
But along the line, we got in abundance and we shared to the people.
So as MCE, what are some of the things or achievements that you garnered during that period?
Going into the La-Dadekotopon Municipal Assembly, as a new assembly from AMU, there was nothing. We didn't have the structures, the buildings and all that. And so, as the people had said, this woman, she cannot do it. I said, God, lead me to make a difference. And so we put up the buildings, that's the offices, because when I went there, about 4 departments would be in one room. And I realized that we needed to put up the structures. And so when you go there now, all the offices there, was during my tenure that the offices were built.
Right.
We have an annex at Elwak, opposite the Elwak Sports Stadium. We did, for instance, the public schools that we had there, I made sure we fenced them. I changed all their blackboards to white marker boards. I got vehicles for the assembly. And then I initiated the construction of the Chado Road. It was untarred at then. And so that was my first project for the community, to make sure that we rode on the tarred roads. I went to the ministry, the urban roads department, and the director then was like, oh, wow, I like your spirit. And I said, this is what I want for my people. And they quickly got contractors on the road, and they came to construct the road. And when you come to La, I also helped in construction of some of the roads. I also initiated the La Market complex. Growing up, I used to go get sugar cane from the market, and I used to look at the market, and they call us La Manfefeo. When I was growing up, there was a signboard when you are entering the La town itself, and they had written La Manfefeo. So I said, if this is La Manfefeo, why is our market so dilapidated? And so I said, God, no more femo mi onupa wose ye mami konima wana chake markete. And so when I got the opportunity as MCS, oh my God, this is it. So that's the big one for me. Then I put the committee together. We needed to do the process, the procurement. I went to the traditional council to inform them of my intention, and I had meetings with them, and they gave their blessing for the construction of the market. And then we started the construction of the La Market complex. And it was when we started, I laid the foundation. So when it was coming up, I had to leave the assembly. But one thing I did that I was happy about is I left a lot of money in the account for them to continue the construction of the La Market. And so nobody had any choice than to, and I kept pushing.
Finish the market.
Yeah, to finish the market.
But so, we can't say same for, the La General Hospital?
The La General Hospital, it was pulled down in 2019. And they promised us that within 2 years.
It's disappointing, isn't it?
Oh, very disappointing. And I have been crying, I have been shouting, advocating, doing statements in parliament, asking questions. And the minister then would just come and lie. And it was so frustrating. At a point, my people, we had to go on demonstrations, the chiefs. And believe you me, I never slept because of that hospital. And today, I made so much noise.